Hafide, and welcome to D18 Tonight. I'm Nestor Licanto. I'd like to welcome our guests this evening, Republicans Julius Santos, Senator Mary Torres, and Democrat Clynt Ridgell. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let us start off by asking you to just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourselves, and we'll start with you, Julius.
Oh, wow, okay. Going to me first. Hafide, which camera are you looking at here? My name is Julius Cesar Perez Santos. I'm a Republican. I'm number 5 in the Republican ballot. I'm asking the people of Guam to believe in me and vote for me for the 35th legislature. I understand that is a huge task that I'm asking you to do. My slogan is the right man, the right time. I believe that through all my experiences in my life, all of my mistakes, my accomplishments, my entire professional career, I've worked with the grassroots to the silver spoons. We all share one thing in common. We love Guam and we want to make it the best place in the world to live and to raise our families.
Thank you very much. Senator Torres.
Hafide, my name is Mary Camacho Torres, and I'd like to thank the people of Guam for the privilege and honor to have served as a senator in the 33rd and 34th Guam legislatures. I've always approached my role as a senator with the professionalism and the dignity that I believe is required and expected of our elected officials. And I've approached legislation with the broader picture, always understanding the needs of the community as a whole. Sa put favor o fafasin hamzu o agradeci sporten mizu por favor ajuda satlu ki estimamala ne election.
Thank you, Senator. And Clynt.
Hafide, I'm Clynt Ridgell. I'm running for Senator number 6 on the Democratic ticket. And I started out my career in the media actually here in this very studio at KOM, in the hallowed halls of KOM. And I worked in the media industry for many years after that, for about roughly 14 years. And so over the years, I got to learn a lot about the issues, and I spent a lot of time reporting bad news, and I felt it was time for me to start making some good news. So that's why I'm running for senator. If you're looking for a credible, real candidate, please vote for me, number 6 on the ballot, Clynt Ridgell.
Thank you, Clynt. And let's start with, get right into the questions. I'm going to start with you, Senator Torres. Just a general question. What would be your priority for your next term in office?
I think the priority for anybody coming into the 35th Guam legislature would be government efficiency and tackling the fiscal crisis and challenges that we have. But my priority, I've always had an eye for the people. I've tried to become their voice and to represent the concerns of our community. So in any fiscal crisis, there's always the disenfranchised that have a tendency to fall through the cracks. So my priority would be to look at legislation that protects the most vulnerable in our community, especially during these trying times.
Thank you, Senator. Clynt.
First priority, excuse me, same thing. Actually, in my platform, the first priority there is fiscal solvency. Basically, let's get the government finances in order, and I think that begins with making some realistic cuts to government waste and wasteful spending and unnecessary government spending. I think it starts there. We take a good, serious, honest look at the budget, start making cuts before we talk about raising any taxes.
Okay, and the question to you, Julius.
Thank you for the question. I'm actually glad that I got to go after the Senator and Clynt here. We're talking about fiscal responsibility, and it's directly linked to my platform. It's not the most attractive one, but it's about bolstering the economy, and I believe that the economy is at the core of many of our major issues when we talk about funding. I agree with Clynt when we say we should not go directly to raise taxes. I respect the job that the senators are doing in the legislature. They need to do what they can to solve problems right now, but in the long term, we strengthen our economy, we create more jobs, higher paying jobs, we empower our people.
Okay, I think you guys touched on it, and the next question has to do with taxes, which of course has been a pretty big issue of late. Clynt, let me ask you, where do you stand on
No new taxes.
All right, let me finish the question, though. What would you support? Transition to from the business privilege tax to a sales tax, or neither?
Absolutely. I think I would prefer to have a sales tax rather than the current business privilege tax. Now, I'm not talking about raising taxes. I'm talking about converting the current tax rate from a business privilege or gross receipts tax into a sales tax. Absolutely. Why? Because that way it's no longer a hidden tax. We can see, the consumer can see in the end product exactly how much they're paying in the way of taxes, whereas now, of course, it's a hidden tax. The consumer doesn't realize how much they're actually paying in taxes.
Okay. Julius, same question to you.
You know, I think that issue is kind of difficult because we also have to consider our island's #1 economic engine, and that's tourism. And there have been some concerns coming from the tourism industry as far as having a sales tax. I'm not necessarily against it. And with respect to the tax raises that are being done right now, that's to address issues that are pressing, that are urgent. I want to think more long term so that we can broaden the tax base, generate more tax revenue. With that said, that balance will have to be discussed in the 35th legislature.
And Senator Torres, where do you stand on the sales tax issue?
The sales tax is an ideal tax in that it's visible, but we have some issues right now with the GRT, the BPT, where it's pledged against some of the debt of the government. So the timing of graduating from a BPT tax system to a sales tax system, I think, is going to be over a longer course of time, not something very immediate. So while in concept it may work, in terms of people seeing it as a visible tax, it is not a viable or practical solution for right now.
Okay, we're doing really good on time, so I think we can squeeze in another question before the break. To you, Julius, what would you do to help alleviate the hospital's chronic budget shortfall?
Well, that's the thing. You know, I listen to a lot of commentary on the hospital, and they talk about collecting on late bills, and we talk about the funding shortfall. And that's why I say again, I believe that my platform is at the core of all of these issues. If we can generate more taxable revenue for the government, that should help to mitigate a lot of the problems that we have as far as funding.
Senator Torres?
The hospital needs a very good business plan. The problem is we have issues with billing, with collecting, with accountability, with even collecting the cost of actual Medicare, Medicaid patients. So I believe that there has to be a revamping of the business plan of the hospital and run it more of where you're accountable for expenses and you can capture expenses. And shifting the personnel to where you have more revenue generating personnel on staff as opposed to administrative staff.
Okay. Clynt, how would you fix the hospital?
I don't think it's a real true budget shortfall. I think that we throw money at the hospital every year, and every year the entire budget of the government of Guam increases, and each agency's budget increases incrementally over the years. So we can't just keep throwing money on top of a fire. It's just going to keep burning. We need to fix the problem, and I think the problem stems from management. We need proper management at the hospital. We need real management at the hospital, real leadership to fix the hospital and plug all the leaks where all the money is leaking out through.
All right. It's time for a quick break, and we'll be back with more D18 Live right after this. Stay with us.
A beautiful, healthy smile is an expression of confidence. The more confident you are about your smile, the more likely you are to fully express your feelings without having to worry about the way your teeth look.
Before cosmetic dentistry, I didn't smile as much. I didn't have the confidence, and it shows. And since I've had cosmetic dentistry done, I feel 10 times more confident. I make my initial introduction with a nice big smile and a handshake, and I just feel like it really is a relationship builder, a nice warm smile, and it makes the clients and customers feel more comfortable with you, feeling confident, and they feel that you're not just there for business, that you're also there kind of as a friend as well. So I mean, it's amazing how powerful a smile can be. A good smile.
Since your smile makes a significant impression on those around you, it is important that it makes the impression you want it to make.
Welcome back to D18 Tonight. We're going to shift now to questions from our Facebook Live audience. And the first one comes from Dominic Jerome Leon Guerrero. And he asked Senator Torres, where do you stand in regards to political status?
I've been looking at that issue, and I think that the answer there is really in modernizing and updating the decolonization registry statute, because it gives us right now 3 options that I believe are not the right 3 options. Perhaps there are other options on political status that today's Chamorro Guamanian is more interested in, as opposed to just independence statehood or status quo. So I think the true test for us is to go in and actually give us options that are more in line with what today's community person wants on Guam.
Okay, Clynt?
First of all, I believe it's the native inhabitants of Guam who have the right to vote for their political status, for self-determination. So I believe the choice is up to the native inhabitants of Guam, who are defined as people who were made U.S. citizens by virtue of the Organic Act in 1950. But if you're asking what my personal opinion is, I would like to see independence for Guam.
Okay. And you, Julius?
There is a lot of contention between the independence and the statehood, and free association hardly ever gets brought up. And I look at free association and I start to like it more and more. And it can lend itself to independence. Through free association, we can take small steps of autonomy as we can sustain our economy, strengthen our economy. That is crucial if we want to be an independent nation. So that's why I really like the option of free association. I know we see some negative aspects of it, but we can totally learn from all of the mistakes that have been made, and we can pave a better path for us moving forward.
Okay, next question goes to you, Clynt, and this is from Andre Bynum, who has been a guest here on the after show, actually. And Andre asks, too many politicians have used the position as a senator as a career. Do you support term limits and adjusting the Mini-Hatch Act to level the playing field so more people can run? I think he's referring to the fact that if you are not an appointee, you must step down as a government employee.
Yes. Mini-Hatch Act question? Yes, absolutely. What was the first part of the question again? It was
term limits.
Term limits.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, I have thought about term limits. I'm not sure exactly where I stand on term limits. I'm open to the idea of term limits. I know actually the senator sitting to the right of me has actually introduced a bill that would create term limits, which I thought was an interesting bill and something I'm open to, but I have not made a final decision on whether or not I agree with term limits for senators or not.
Okay. Julius, two-part question. You want me to repeat it?
No, I can start with the first part. As far as the term limits, just like Clynt Ridgell said, I'm definitely open to the conversation. We have members in the community who feel strongly about having that. However, we do have to remember a career politician is only a career politician because they have inspired the people to vote for them. And so when we have a group of constituents who vote this person in continually, we have to look at their statement as a valid one to take. With respect to the Mini-Hatch Act, I absolutely agree. I think it is borderline discriminatory to say that an entire sector of individuals cannot exercise their right to run for public office, and most of them are working class people.
Okay, and Senator Torres.
As Clynt mentioned, I did introduce a bill that put term limits in the legislature, and I think fundamentally the framers of our Constitution had the idea that the power of an office sometimes is a disadvantage to somebody that wants to come in from the outside. So term limits are a good concept in terms of shifting around representation and allowing people to come in. In terms of the Mini-Hatch Act, I think that certain positions should be exempt, and just because they wield influence, and those that came up with the Mini-Hatch Act did it for good reason. I think that it's a good measure.
All right, thank you very much. Next question is from Bev, Tess, and Jay Solis, and it goes to you, Julius. Do you have any plans for better medical insurance coverage on island instead of having to leave our island for medical assistance?
Medical insurance, medical assistance. So those are kind of two different things. The medical insurance industry, I'm still looking at, and I'm still trying to get a full grasp of that. So I really can't give an answer on that. I would love more time to research that issue. As far as getting better health care, I mean, that gets tied directly into the hospital. We have GRMC, and then that would come to, do you have the economic resources to pay for medical health care? And then if you don't, how can we address that challenge in your life, and how can we empower you so that you can have more resources?
Senator Torres, your thoughts on the medical insurance coverage here?
Medical insurance is quite expensive on Guam and not easily attainable by everybody. And in terms of the government, if we can have a greater pool to, there's always the efficiencies of economy where you can have greater pools, drive costs down. That's what we need to look at is how do we pool our resources and so that those that pay into the system can offset the cost of those that utilize the system more. So it just has to be, I think, an approach to an economies of scale concept with insurance.
I believe in universal health care. The United States is the only industrialized nation in the entire world that does not have a form of universal health care. Many other people from other countries that I've spoken to that have universal health care have said that it has been great for their countries. It has provided great health coverage for all of the citizens of their countries and is overall good for the public health of their countries.
All right, thank you very much. Time for another break. D18 will be back in just a moment. Don't go away.
Where can you find a burger inspired by flavors from near and far that mixes the smoky with the sass of the South? Combines the sweetness of summer with the tang of the country for savory, sizzling, unexpected flavors. Well, you can find it at McDonald's. The new Bacon Smokehouse Burger. It's the newest flavor of the signature crafted recipes by McDonald's.
As a nurse, I cared for thousands of patients at their time of greatest need. I know how important it is to have our only public hospital accredited. With your help, Josh and I will change our island's approach to healthcare. We will reduce insurance costs, make sure there are enough beds at GMH, better utilize public health centers, and invest in the latest technology. We will get the job done. I'm in to help get us there, and I humbly ask for your vote.
I'm Lilian Guerrero, and I approve this message.
Introducing the Alpha Plus app. Pay insurance premium online using the Pay feature. Get estimate quotes for auto, home, commercial, and other insurance offered by Alpha Insurers. View our list of exclusive deals available at our partner merchants. So download the all-new Alpha Plus app on Google Play or the App Store. Alpha Plus, make every day a plus.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's, offers fully covered loading and unloading area with individual pin-coded gate and door access. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, and we'll go straight back into the questions, and actually comes from two different folks, and it has to do with what's your take on marijuana legalization, and where do you stand on recreational marijuana? And the questions come from Sigong Jacob and Michael Carlo Netadog. And let's start with you, Julius.
Okay. Well, cannabis is already legal for medicinal purposes. It has its own struggles, and I was just speaking about this topic last night. It's a huge issue, and I'm not an expert on it, and fortunately we do have. With respect to recreational, I don't like that term. It paints, to me, it paints a negative picture in the people's minds. When I discuss this with individuals who have a vision of a cannabis industry, they call it regulated adult use, to be treated like tobacco or alcohol. I am highly open to that discussion. It would be creating a new industry, and that's how we can create dedicated funding sources as opposed to raising taxes. Senator Torres.
I think we need to get medicinal marijuana off the ground first. I don't know that our community is quite ready for recreational. Although I've seen, instances like the Washington State model and the Colorado, where it's not had an adverse impact on the community necessarily. So I wouldn't be adverse to it, but I think that our mandate right now is medicinal marijuana, and we really owe it to the people to get that off the ground.
Okay, and you, Clynt?
All right, first of all, hi to Sigong Jacob and Michael Carlo Netadog. I believe we're friends on Facebook, so thanks for that question. I am in full support of recreational marijuana, or if you'd like to call it adult use cannabis. I believe in a safe, regulated cannabis industry. I believe that would create a new industry for Guam, new jobs. It will also boost tourism, as there will be many tourists from Japan that would like to come here to partake in that. And I believe it will generate new revenues for the island. We regulate it, we tax it, it's a safe product.
Okay. Next question is from Jesse Limtiaco, and it goes to you, Senator Torres. The GRT was 6% in 2004. That was when your brother was governor, actually, and repealed shortly after. Will you be willing to look at that and implement it?
I think that we're at a point right now where our backs are against the wall in terms of the fiscal crisis that resulted from the Trump Tax Act. And so we may be in a situation much like the same way they were in 2004, where we were forced to infuse cash into the government. Unfortunately, that seems to be the writing on the wall. There are many solutions out there, but oftentimes solutions take a while. But when you're in a situation where You have to act fast and infuse cash fast to, to prevent the government from collapsing and people losing jobs. I think we may have to make that hard call.
Clynt, I know you said earlier no new taxes, no additional taxes, but what do you think of that question?
Of raising taxes, right? Like I said earlier, I'm against raising taxes. I think we should take a good hard look at our budget, cut waste, cut wasteful spending, cut the fat. I know there's a lot of talk that there is no fat to cut, and I know I'm not in there right now, and I know that the good senator to the right of me is actually in there looking at the budget every day, combing through it, and there are a lot of difficult decisions to make, but ultimately I believe we can cut and we can generate new revenues through other sources like a cannabis industry as well as an agricultural industry. Those are some parts of my platform, as a matter of fact, is developing an agricultural industry and a cannabis industry.
Okay. And Julius?
I have to agree with Clynt as far as bolstering, again, the economy, which is critical to my platform. However, I do understand Senator Torres' concerns. The solutions are extremely difficult when we're talking about the long term, when we need to do something right now. I know that the community wants to help everyone, particularly the hospital, and they're willing to make the sacrifices that we need to make right now. So with respect to whether it's GRT or the 2% tax, that's something, again, that will have to be negotiated on the floor.
All right. Next question to you, Clynt. John Paul Manuel asks, how important is the preservation of the Chamorro language to you?
Hi, John Paul. You're also my friend on Facebook. Anyways, I do think it's extremely important. Very, very important. I'm a huge proponent of the Chamorro culture. I myself am not Chamorro, but I was born and raised on Guam. My wife is Chamorro. Both of my kids are Chamorro. And we gave them indigenous Chamorro names, as a matter of fact, as part of that process towards preserving the Chamorro culture, because we realized that a lot of indigenous names were no longer in use. So actually, a shout out to my daughter Inina and my son Inatua, who both have indigenous Chamorro names. I'm a huge proponent of the Chamorro culture and the perpetuation and promotion of the Chamorro language.
All right. Julius?
I absolutely agree. It's one of those crucial elements in the recipe of culture that make our culture so unique, is our language. I speak to a lot of language experts. One in particular is a good friend of mine, and we have this discussion a lot. And I look at it from a marketing and promotion aspect, because in order to get people to want to learn the language, seeing as how we're in this modern times, we need to somehow make our language relevant and quote unquote cool. But I absolutely support plans, whatever they are, as creative as they can be, so that we can keep our language going. We need to keep it alive.
Senator Torres?
I actually practice what I believe in on the floor of the legislature. I make an effort to speak Chamorro as much as I can. Guahano tauto man lelinga na mamatay sa lingua hi lo ahi ti mamatay. Angin un sagi ha masya haftaimano masya dididi ha senior ha lamatla I linguahi. So little at a time we infuse whatever we can. There's ways that you can preserve it in a practical way, and language is our identity, and all people are looking for something very particular to them, and as a destination we have to ensure that we have that identity through our language.
Thank you. They're telling me we need to take another break, so we're going to do that and be back with more D18 Tonight right after this.
Big Fries took everything from me to keep my father from exposing the truth about nacho fries.
Rebellion is forming. Flip the switch.
Is there anything that tastes better than this?
Revenge.
The future is nacho fries!
Looks like you guys could use a hand.
Summer is here, and at Cars Plus and Mighty, that means big savings during our summer clearance event. Right now, save up to $8,000 on select 2018 Ram 1500 SLT Crew Cab, or save $3,250 on a 2018 Chrysler Pacifica, voted Family Car of the Year. 1.99 APR financing is available for qualified buyers. Plus, buy today and receive a Cars Plus value card, where you get 21 cents off per gallon at all Shell stations. Don't miss our summer clearance event, going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
All right, and we're back for, we've got time for one quick question. Let me ask you, Senator, this is from John and Larissa Camacho. What would you propose for individuals who do not or cannot care for their child? And I know you introduced legislation similar to that.
I recently introduced the Infant Safe Haven Act that deals with children, mothers wanting to relinquish their parental rights over children up to 30 days old. But we do know that within the system we have within our public health system and Child Protective Services Act, the ability to relinquish your child or to seek assistance with those agencies that are entrusted with protecting children. But you know, there is help available for parents. Child Protective Services Act gives us that right for the government to intervene and take custody where a child's life is in danger. And so just look to your officials. They're there to help you.
All right, Clynt, your thoughts?
What was exactly the question?
What sort of assistance would you provide or propose for individuals who do not or cannot care for their child?
Okay. Well, I do like the senator's idea, the Safe Harbor Act, actually, and I guess it's just something along those lines. There's only so much that the legislature can do. The legislature is a policy-making body, so it's really about creating laws that would stand up programs for that and finding funding for programs that would assist people that want to, that are unable to take care of their children. So it really comes down to finding different programs, and then I think it all stems from education in the very beginning, is educating the public about the options that they have and about options as far as practicing safe sex and other things.
All right, thanks. Julius, real quick.
I kind of agree with both of them. This is something that I've thought about a lot. The good thing with the Safe Haven Act is it de-incentivizes abortion. Right, and so it will allow the mother to carry the baby to full term. There are other models that have this, particularly in different countries, where if a mother or a couple brings a baby in, what the government now does is it holds them accountable. You're asking the community to help raise your child. We are willing to do that. Now, what are you willing to do to help make up for that? Right, and so we have programs that exist already to help empower them, teach them skills so they can get work, teach them fiscal, financial responsibility so that they can now be more mature and more responsible and so that they can be empowered to raise children.
Thank you very much. And before we go, we're going to give you one last opportunity to ask the public for their vote. And we're going to start with you, Clynt.
All right, Hafaday, I'm Clynt Ridgell. I'm number 6 on the Democratic ticket. Please vote for me this election. If you're looking for a credible, real candidate, I'm the candidate to vote for. I believe that we can make Guam green again. That's a big part of my platform, and what that means is being green with cash, green with agriculture, green with renewable technology, green with environmental protections, and green with legalized cannabis. Please vote for me, number 6 on the ballot. Thank you.
All right, Julius.
Making me green with envy there. But yes, my name is Julius Cesar Perez Santos. I'm number 5 in the Republican ballot. I need your vote. I believe in myself. I believe in my vision. I'm going to bring values to the legislature. I want to empower our people. And the key to that is to strengthen our island's economy, make it sustainable, and bolster our island's economy so that we can create more jobs, not just more jobs, but higher paying jobs. This is how I want to help Guam the best place, to be the best place to live and raise your families.
And Senator Torres.
Hafaday, I'm number 2 on the ballot on the Republican side. I have always had a desire to serve, and it is such a privilege to be able to serve in the legislature. I humbly ask for your support. I think that we need people like me who truly epitomize what the Chamorro spirit is, that spirit of inafamalat, of inafadanya, the spirit of wanting to just contribute and give to the community. And I believe that I've been that reasonable person that's always looked out. I've been the voice, and my slogan this year is, I want you to be heard.
Thank you very much. And we'd like to thank all of our guests for this evening. Julius Santos, Senator Mary Torres, and Clynt Ridgell for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
And that will do it for us, but the party's not over. The after party right after this on FB Live. Please stay tuned for that. Sabrina Salas-Matanani and Chris Barnett. Good night, everyone.
Furniture provided by Furniture Cathy Style. Men's wardrobe by Royal Bix.